Everybody, so we're on the Mayan Popol Vuh. Let's dig into it. And here it is, the epitaph, the death of Juanapu and Zipalanque. Oh, I hope it's not spoiler, they're gonna die. Here it is, now we shall name their epitaph, their death. They did whatever they were instructed to do, going through all the dangers, the troubles that were made for them, but they did not die from the test of Xibalba. Nor were they defeated by all the voracious animals that inhabit Xibalba. After that they summoned two midmost seers, similar to readers. Here are their names: Sulu, Pakam, both Noors. Perhaps there will be questions from the lords of Xibalba about our death. They are thinking about how to overcome us because we haven't died, nor have we been defeated. We've exhausted all their tests. Not even the animals got us, so this is the sign. Here in our hearts, their instrument for our death will be a stone oven. All the Xibalbans have gathered together. Isn't our death inevitable? So this is your plan. Here we shall name it. If you come to be questioned by them about our death, once you've been burned, what will you say, Sulu? And you, Pakam, if they ask you? Wouldn't it be good if we dumped their bones in the canyon? Perhaps it wouldn't be good, since they would only come back to life again, you'll say. Perhaps this would be good, we'll just hang them up in a tree, they say to you next. Certainly that's no good, since you would see their faces, you will say, and then they'll speak to you for the third time. Well, here's the only good thing. We'll just dump their bones in the river. If that's what they ask you next, this is a good death for them. And it would also be good to grind their bones on a stone, just as hard corn is refined into flour, and refine each of them separately, and then spill them into the river, sprinkle them on the water's way, among the mountains small and great. You will say, and then you will have carried out the instructions we've named for you, said little Juanapu and Zipalanque. When they gave these instructions, they already knew they would die. This is the making of the oven, the great stone oven. The Xibalbans made it like the places where the sweet drink is cooked. They opened it with great width. The messengers came to get the boys, the messengers of 1 and 7 death. They must come. We'll go with the boys to see the treat we've cooked up for them, say the lords. You boys, they were told. Very well, they replied. They went running and arriving at the mouth of the oven. And there they tried to force them into a game. Here, let's jump over our drink 4 times. Clear across, one of us after the other. Boys, they were told by one death. You'll never put that one over on us. Don't we know what our death is, you lords? Watch, they said. Then they faced each other. They grabbed each other by the hands and went headfirst into the oven. And there they died, together, and now all the Xibalbans were happy. Wow, they did like a kamikaze death thing. Oh, they went into the ovens. Oh. Wow, they died together, though. Wow. Rising their shouts and raising their cheers. We've really beaten them. They didn't give up easy, they said. After that, they summoned Sulu and Pakam, who kept their word. The bones went just where the boys had wanted them. Once the Xibalbans had done the divination, the boys were ground and spilled into the river. But they didn't go far. They just sank to the bottom of the water. They became handsome boys. They looked just the same as before when they reappeared. So they reincarnated? They came back to life? And on the 5th day they reappeared. They were seen in the water by the people. The 2 of them looked like catfish when their faces were seen by Xibalba. And having germinated into the waters, they appeared the day after that as 2 vagabonds, with rags before rags and rags behind, and rags all over too. They seemed unrefined when they were examined by Xibalba. They acted differently now. It was only the dance of the poor will, the dance of the weasel. Only armadillos they danced. Only swallowing swords, only walking on stilts now they danced. They performed many miracles now. They would set fire to a house, as if they were really burning it, and suddenly bring it back again. Now Xibalba was full of admiration. Next they would sacrifice themselves, one of them dying for the other, stretched out as if in death. First they would kill themselves, but then they would suddenly look alive again. The Xibalbans could only admire what they did. Everything they did now was already the groundwork for their defeat of Xibalba. And after that, news of their dances came to the ears of the lords, 1 in 7 death. When they heard it, they said, "Who are these two vagabonds? Are they really such delight, and is their dancing really that pretty?" "They do everything," they said. An account of them had reached the lords. It sounded delightful, so then they entreated their messengers to notify them that they must come. "If only they'd come make a show for us, we'd wonder at them and marvel at them," say the lords. You will say, the messengers were told, so they came to the dancers, then spoke the words of the lords to them. "But we don't want to because we're really ashamed, just plain no. Wouldn't we be afraid to go inside there, into a lordly house? Because we really look bad. Wouldn't we just be wide-eyed? Take pity on us. Wouldn't we just look like mere dancers to them? What would we say to our fellow vagabonds? There are others who also want us to dance today, to liven things up with us, so we can't do likewise for the lords, and likewise is not what we want, messengers," said Juanapu and Zipalanque. Even so, they were prevailed upon. Through troubles, through torments, they went on their tortuous way. They didn't want to walk fast. Many times they had to be forced. The messengers went ahead of them as guides, but had to keep coming back. And so they went to the Lord. And they came to the lords, feigning great humility. They bowed their heads all the way to the ground when they arrived. They brought themselves low, doubled over, flattened out, down to the rags, to the tatters. They really looked like vagabonds when they arrived. So then they were asked what their mountain and tribe were, and they were also asked about their mother and father. "Where do you come from?" they were asked. "We've never known, Lord. We don't know the identity of our mother and father. We mustn't have been small when they died," was all they said. They didn't give any names. "Very well. Please entertain us then. What do you want us to give you in payment?" they were asked. "Well, we don't want anything, to tell the truth. We're afraid," they told the Lord. "Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Just dance this way. First you'll dance to sacrifice yourselves." "What? Dance to sacrifice yourself?" "You'll set fire to my house after that." What kind of request is that? Like, you're gonna dance for me, and you're gonna dance like you're gonna sacrifice yourself, and then you're gonna pretend to set my house on fire. You're like, I think I'll not do this gig. "You'll act out all the things you know. We want to be entertained. This is our heart's desire, the reason you had to be sent for, dear vagabonds. We'll give you payment," they were told. So then they began their songs and dances, and then all the Xibalbans arrived. The spectators crowded the floor, and they danced everything. They danced the weasel, they danced the poor will, they danced the armadillo. Then the Lord said to them, "Sacrifice my dog, then bring him back to life again," they were told. What the... Oh my gosh, I know he's gonna come back to life, but who says that? Like, you know what? Sacrifice my dog for my entertainment. Then bring him back to life. What kind of psycho? I wouldn't want to be that guy's dog. "Yes," they said. When they sacrificed the dog, he then came back to life. And that dog was really happy when he came back to life. Back and forth he wagged his tail when he came back to life. And the Lord said to them, "Well, you have set my home on fire," they were told next. So then they set fire to the home of the Lord. The house was packed with all the lords, but they were not burned. They quickly fixed it back again, lest the house of one death be consumed all at once. And all the lords were amazed, and they went on dancing this way. They were overjoyed. And then they were asked by the Lord, "You have yet to kill a person. Make a sacrifice without death," they were told. "Very well," they said. And then they took hold of a human sacrifice, and then they held up a human heart on high. A human heart. And then they showed its roundness to the lords. And now 1 in 7 Death admired it, and now that person was brought right back to life. His heart was overjoyed when he came back to life, and the lords were amazed. Sacrifice ye yet again, even do it to yourselves. Let's see it. At heart, that's the dance we really want from you, the lords said now. Very well, Lord, they replied, and then they sacrificed themselves. What is going on? That's crazy. Wow. And this is the sacrifice of little Juanapu by Zipalanque. One by one, his legs, his arms were spread wide. His head came off, rolled far away outside. One of them is always losing their head. His heart dug out, was smothered in a leaf, and all the Xibalbans went crazy at the sight. They went crazy at the sight. They're in the underworld, and the people in the underworld are going nuts, seeing human heads and hearts exposed. Crazy dark. Hey, look! Look how the hieroglyph of the dog is. It looks like a cartoon. So now only one of them was dancing there, Zipalanque. Get up, he said, and Juanapu came back to life. The two of them were overjoyed at this, and likewise the lords rejoiced as if they were doing it themselves. 1 in 7 Death were as glad at heart as if they themselves were actually doing the dance. And then the hearts of the lords were filled with longing, with yearning for the dance of little Juanapu and Zipalanque. So then came these words from 1 in 7 Death. Do it to us, sacrifice us, they said. Sacrifice both of us, said 1 in 7 Death to little Juanapu and Zipalanque. Very well. You ought to come back to life. What is death to you? And aren't we making you happy, along with the vassals of your domain? They told the lords. And this one was the first to be sacrificed, the lord at the very top, the one whose name is 1 Death, the ruler of Xibalba. And with 1 Death, the next to be taken was 7 Death. They did not come back to life. And then the Xibalbans were getting up to leave, those who had seen the lords die. They underwent heart sacrifice there, and the heart sacrifice was performed on the 2 lords only for the purpose of destroying them. As soon as they had killed the one lord without bringing him back to life, the other lord had been meek and tearful before the dancers. He didn't consent. He didn't accept it. Take pity on me, he said when he realized. All their vassals took the road to the great canyon. In one single mass they filled up the deep abyss. So they piled up there and gathered together countless ants tumbling down into the canyon as if they were being herded there. And when they arrived, they all bent lower in surrender. They arrived meek and tearful. Such was the defeat of the rulers of Xibalba. The boys accomplished it only through wonders, only through self-transformation. Wow. That is so cool. What an imagination. What an imagination these ancient Mayans had. These stargazers, these mathematical people, these just brilliant, so brilliant.